Angkor Wat Temple complex at Angkor near Siem Reap, Cambodia, that was built in the early 12th century by King Suryavarman II, reigned in year 1113, circa 1115. The vast religious complex of Angkor Wat comprises more than 1,000 buildings, and it is one of the great cultural wonders of the world. Angkor Wat is the world's largest religious structure, covering some 400 acres, about 160 hectares, and marks a high point of the Khmer architecture. The city of Angkor served as the royal center from which a dynasty of Khmer kings ruled one of the largest, most prosperous and most sophisticated kingdoms in the history of Southeast Asia. From the end of the 9th century until early in the 13th century, numerous construction projects were undertaken, the most notable of which was Angkor Wat. It was built by Suryavarman II as a vast funerary temple within which his remains were to be deposited. Construction is believed to have spanned some 3 decades. All of the original religious motifs derived from Hinduism, and the temple was dedicated to the gods Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu. The 5 central towers of Angkor Wat symbolize the peaks of Mount Meru, which according to Hindu mythology is the dwelling place of the gods. The mountain is said to be surrounded by an ocean, and the complex enormous moat suggests the oceans at the edge of the world. A 617-foot, about 188-meter bridge allows access to the site. The temple is reached by passing through 3 galleries. It's separated by a paved walkway. The temple walls are covered with bas-relief sculptures of very high quality, representing Hindu gods and ancient Khmer scenes, as well as scenes from the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. After the Cham people of modern-day Vietnam sacked Angkor in year 1137, King Jayavarman VII reigned in year 1181 to circa 1220, decided that the Hindu gods had failed him. When he built a new capital nearby, Angkor Thom, he dedicated to Buddhism. Thereafter, Angkor Wat became a Buddhist shrine, and many of its carvings and statues of Hindu deities were replaced by Buddhist art. In the early 15th century, Angkor was abandoned. Still, Theravada Buddhist monks maintained Angkor Wat, which remained an important pilgrimage site and continued to attract European visitors. Angkor Wat was rediscovered after the French colonial regime was established in year 1863. In the 20th century, various restoration programs were undertaken, but they were suspended amid the political unrest that engulfed Cambodia in the year 1970s. When the work resumed in the mid-1980s, the required repairs were extensive. Notably, sections had to be dismantled and rebuilt. In year 1992, the Angkor complex, which included Angkor Wat, was designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO and was immediately added to the list of the World Heritage in danger. In the ensuing years, restoration efforts increased and Angkor was removed from the danger list in year 2004. Today, Angkor Wat is one of the most important pilgrimage shrines in Southeast Asia and a popular tourist attraction. The temple complex appears on the Cambodian flag. Temple building, edifice constructed for religious worship. Most of Christianity calls these places of worship churches. Many religions use temple, a word derived in English from the Latin word for temp, because of the importance to the Romans of the proper time of sacrifices. The name synagogue, which is from the Greek for a place of assembly, is often interchangeable with Jewish temple. Mosque is roughly an Arabic equivalent for temple. The Church of the Latter-day Saints or Mormon temples are not places of worship but centers for such ordinances to and for the living and for the dead. Because of the importance of temples in society, temple architecture often represents the best of the sculptures, design, and craftsmanship, and because of ritual requirements, temple architecture varies widely between one religion and another. The ziggurats of the Mesopotamian culture were elaborate, designed, and decorated, and their step style ascended to a point where god or gods could dwell, or where only special priests were allowed. Ancient Egypt had temples to gods, but because of primary concern of its religion was the afterlife of souls, its pyramidal tombs become its primary shrines and most familiar architectural heritage. In the ancient Greek religion, the various gods were the most important focus, and classical Greek temple architecture created structures that emphasize that focus. An inner windowless room or cellar housed an image of a god, and an altar stood outside the temple, usually at the eastern end and often enclosed. Most Greek temples were built of the marble or other stone, richly carved and polychrome, situated on a hill or step platforms, style base, and having sloping roofs supported on a portico by columns in a variety of styles and placements. The design and decoration of the Greek temples had a profound effect on architecture of later eras in the West, beginning with the Roman. During the 3rd and the 2nd centuries BC, Roman temples began to evince Greek influence, using the Greek decorative style by placing the altar within the temple and eventually creating entire forums or meeting place, of which the temple was the center. In Roman temple architecture, the columns in their various styles soon become engaged rather than freestanding, and circular as well as rectangular temples were built. Byzantine and Western Church architecture developed from these bases in the Hellenistic styles, and the names and designs of this style of temple architecture still survive in the West. In the East and Middle East too, temple design expresses the nature of the religion. For example, the asceticism and symbolism of Jainism is reflected In that region's beautifully decorated monastery-like structures in India, both above the ground in simple cloisters and below the ground in caves. Other Indian temple architecture, although it tends to follow the pattern of a simple floor plan with a richly decorated facade, differs according to the ritual Hindu temples, which vary regionally in style, usually consists of a towering shrine and column hall surrounded by outer parade wall. Buddhist temples range from half-buried sanctuaries with richly carved entrance to single carved towers or statues. Muslim temples in India as well elsewhere are usually domed structures decorated with colored tiles on the outside and covering a large central sanctuary and arcadic courtyards within. The Chinese and later Japanese version of the Buddhist temple tends to be a one-story building of richly carved, painted, or Thai timber constructed around an atrium used for worship. Although pagodas, which were sometimes built as temples, were towering stacks of brightly colored, wind-proof story over a small shrine. By contrast, the Shinto temple of Japan are almost half so simple and rustic are their design. In America's Incan and Mayan, temples were constructed of stone and were often highly carved in general. Because of the available technology as well as the religious belief, they were step pyramids, with a shrine at the top, Chichen Itza, the ruins of which remain in the Yucatan Peninsula, has excellent example of this style of pre-Columbian temple architecture. Modern temple architecture, especially in North America, but elsewhere in the world as well, is for the most part eclectic with both traditional and modern designs, being used to accommodate the needs of the religion for which the temple is designed.